Hi, Professor. So first off, forgive me. I'm in my hotel room down for Air Force training down at Grissom. That's why I'm in this as well. But for my assignment, I decided to do John Dewey. The reason I decided to do John Dewey was because of our recent quiz. I got progressivism as one of the top ones. And, at first I was a little shocked because I was like, oh, that may not really relate to, my values or what I perceive as progressivism is, right? But after a little bit of research, some things kind of, I could relate in some ways. But anyways, I chose John Dewey, 1859 to 1952. This is going to be the handout. I'll share this as well on Canvas, and you will find the video link down here above this image. Once I post this video, I'll share it on there. But first off, I'm going to read who was he, and then I'm going to break down what my personal opinions are on him, and then maybe jump over to some of his positions held, as well as his ideas and examples of his impact on education. So first off, John Dewey was a philosopher known for his theory of pragmatism, and I know I was going off of progressivism, which he was popping up for progressivism, but of course also pragmatism, but which emphasized learning through experience. Who was he? According to Peach 2022, John Dewey was a prominent philosopher known for his development of instrumentalism, a form of pragmatism that emphasizes the role of experience in shaping knowledge and truth. Dewey believed that knowledge is not abstract but is an active problem-solving process where thinking is a tool for achieving practical, measurable outcomes. His pragmatic philosophy had a significant impact on various fields, particularly education, where he championed experiential learning. His influence also extended to the church growth movement, CGM, particularly through scholars like Donald McGavran and C. Peter Wagner, who adopted Dewey's principles of pragmatism in their approaches to evangelism and missions. This connection highlights the broader influence of Dewey's ideas, which sought to make philosophical and educational practices more grounded in real-world application. So I did find that interesting because, when it talks about his church growth movement, when I did a little bit of research on him, he kind of leaned a lot towards Darwinism, and that was still found within some of his studies. And he did go to church, of course, and all that, but there's just something to be aware of. It's kind of counteractive with each other. And I know I said I'm going to get into some of his positions held, but I do want to jump into, the core of this, which is his ideas and his impact on education. So first off, what I like about him is he focused on children's role in democracy or in a democratic society. So main thing is he wanted to prepare students for, to be good citizens, right? Additionally, he was more focused on it was more of a child-centered education, which the teacher was more of a facilitator rather than an instructor. And he believed that education was something that is lifelong. So looking at some of these, learning by doing, Dewey 1938. I used his books as references or resources for these, as well as I do have some scholarly articles below that I got from Insight. But learning by doing, Dewey 1938 argued that education should focus on real-world experiences where students engage in hands-on activities to develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. So one of the main things is he believed that students will learn through just simple activities, right? Rather than listening to lectures. More hands-on activities would be more so associated with projects. Child-centered education, Dewey 1902, emphasized that education should be tailored to each student's needs and interests, with teachers acting as facilitators rather than lecturers. I already mentioned that one. Democracy and education, Dewey 1916, believed education should prepare students for democratic citizenship by promoting collaboration, social responsibility, and active participation in society. Excuse me. But yeah, this is one that I think is excellent because it's something that we need today as society kind of fluctuates and the way of the world as we know it today, right? And then I'm going to look at some of his impacts on education. Progressive education movement, Dewey 1916. Ideas led to the development of progressive education, encouraging experiential and cooperative learning with schools like the Lab School at the University of Chicago serving as models. So that's one of the things that he founded was that laboratory school at the University of Chicago in 1896, where he applied his progressive educational theories. He was really big into curriculum reforms. So it says that he advocated for interdisciplinary curriculum design, integrating subjects like science, history, and the arts to foster more holistic learning. And then also teacher training, influenced teacher preparation programs, which are very important. I was somebody that went through one of those programs myself, Indiana Teachers of Tomorrow. Promoting experiential learning and the role of teachers as guides who adapt to student needs. So John Dewey did take a lot of insight from those philosophers of the past, right? He also took a lot of insight from Jean-Jacques Rousseau of the French Revolution, right? As well as who's the other one? I can't think of it at the moment. I just had it on my mind. But you know, some of his things could have been seen as radicalized back then. Today he would probably be super popular in today's society, right? I may have mentioned this already, but he was very smart. He went to Vermont College at the age of 15. He taught at Oil City, Pennsylvania for a couple of years and went to grad school after. After grad school, he got his PhD in philosophy from Johns Hopkins University in 1884. And one quote that I like to go over right here is, if we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. So that's one of his famous quotes. And you know, that's a good quote because we got to constantly adapt. We got to constantly grow and innovate. You know, we can't be teaching old methods. We need to try to come up with new methods that may be more beneficial for us. While the old traditional methods do work, and I do prefer those, obviously, but you know, he does have a good point to where we need to grow and maybe come up with new, you know, better things. But other than that, hope I you know, shared a little bit of good information about John Dewey, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you. Bye.